What's going on, guys? Week 5 NFL picks are here this week for the 2012 NFL season, and I am already 1-0 this week after the St. Louis Rams knocked off the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday Night Football by a score of 17-3. I predicted a little bit more competitive matchup. I predicted 19-16, but St. Louis is now 3-2, and the NFC West is looking very, very competitive. But before I get into the rest of the picks, if you guys could please leave a like in the video, I'd really appreciate it, especially if you enjoy these videos. But first off, I'm going to be talking about the Battle of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia Eagles against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I would say both of these teams so far have been disappointing. I mean, Philadelphia is 3-1, but they have 2 one-point victories and a 2-point victory. They haven't really convinced a lot of people of anything yet, besides the fact that they're going to turn the ball over a lot. Last week against the Giants, though, only 1 turnover, and they won by 2 points. And I think the Eagles are a good team. They just have to start playing better football and have a more complete game. And they're playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who lost to the Oakland Raiders on the road. They gave up 34 points in that game, I believe. And, I mean, they're coming off their bye week, though. They're at home, and according to the injury report right now, all 3 of these players are probable: James Harrison, Rashard Mendenhall, and Troy Polamalu. That's part of why I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game, 24-21. I think Tomlin gets these guys prepared over the bye week, has them ready for this big game. And even for a team like the Steelers, falling to 1-3 this week, and if the Ravens and the Bengals win, that's a pretty big hole with 2 teams in that division playing very good football. And so I'm taking Pittsburgh in that one. Next up, Green Bay and Indianapolis. And of course, Indianapolis will be coached by ex-Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Bruce Arians, as Chuck Pagano has been diagnosed with leukemia and is hospitalized. And I think that definitely they're going to be wanting to play to impress him tomorrow and to play for their coach. And that would be a great thing if they could win this game for their head coach, and it would be a great win against the Green Bay Packers. I'll be cheering for them, of course. I'm a Vikings fan. But I'm taking Green Bay in this game right now. I know Greg Jennings is out, but they have so much talent on offense, and I think the Packers are going to be pretty balanced in this game. I think they're going to be able to run the ball effectively and throw the ball. And it'll take a great game from Andrew Luck, I think, for them to get the victory. I think it could be possible. I want to see it happen, but I'm taking Green Bay over Indianapolis, 27-20. Up next, the Cleveland Browns at 0-4 taking on the New York Giants, who now have 2 losses in their division. They are 0-2, but they're back at home against Cleveland. And Cleveland has played teams tough this year, but are they going to keep playing teams tough? That's the question. I mean, Brandon Weeden has definitely outplayed his receiving core. I mean, if he has some decent receivers on this team, that team could have a couple of wins right now. But right now, he's not throwing to very much talent. And the Giants, meanwhile, they have a lot of talent on offense. They have Eli Manning, of course. They're at home. They got to bounce back after this loss to Philadelphia. I'm taking the Giants at home, 20-13. And now we have a game that a lot of people are making their upset pick with this week. Washington over Atlanta, but I am not one of those people. Now, Washington has been impressive on offense this year, but they've also given up a lot of points, and their secondary is not very good. And you're playing against 2 of the most dangerous wide receivers, and the current MVP of this 2012 NFL season, Matt Ryan. Who is going to cover Julio Jones and Roddy White? I see them scoring a lot of touchdowns tomorrow. I think ATL's offense will be hard to stop. And, I mean, ATL has good defense as well. They have 2 good safeties this year playing well, William Moore and Thomas Deku. As long as they can contain Pierre Garçon, if he plays and he plays well, and they don't let RG3 run for too much on him, they can win this game. And now they're coming off of a scare last week against the Carolina Panthers, and now they're on the road, where they always play better in the Georgia Dome. But I think their talent on offense is just too much. I like Matt Ryan a lot, and I think that if they can bait RG3 into making some mistakes, which he has been smart with the football so far, they can win this game. But regardless, their offense has a lot of firepower, and I like Julio and Roddy in this game, so I take the Atlanta Falcons in this one, 34-28. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Dolphins gave the Cardinals a scare last week. And meanwhile, over in Jacksonville, Cincinnati was busy throwing to A.J. Green, or Andy Dalton was throwing to A.J. Green, rather, and they won that game 27-10, if I remember correctly. And I just don't know who can cover A.J. Green in this offense from the Bengals. I think it's very impressive. But hey, if Brian Hartline decides to catch for over 200 yards again this week, I think the Dolphins have a chance. But I would not be surprised if the Dolphins do pull this off. I can see them being in some spoiler games this year and playing some trap games down the road. But right now, I really like A.J. Green, Andy Dalton, and the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm taking them 23-17. Up next, Baltimore Ravens traveling to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I have had so much trouble picking Kansas City games this year. I had them winning last week against San Diego, and I believe they had 6 turnovers, and Matt Castle is apparently losing confidence in that locker room. And, well, I'm not expecting it to get much better this week against Baltimore. Baltimore's offense is one of the big stories this year with Ray Rice, Dennis Pitta, Anquan Boldin, Torrey Smith, Jacoby Jones even is playing very well, and Joe Flacco as well. But I think if KC can fix their turnover problem right now, and especially at the quarterback position with Matt Castle, they'll be a lot more competitive. But I think right now the Ravens just have too much firepower, and I kind of want to go with the Chiefs in this one, but I got to take the safer bet with Baltimore and their offense that's been playing very well this season. But I'm interested to see how Jamal Charles and Dwayne Bowe and that offense does against the Ravens. I mean, I think we could see a high-scoring matchup here, and I'm predicting the Baltimore Ravens to win 30-27. And now we have a game that I would have predicted a lot differently had it been 2 weeks ago, but it's the Seattle Seahawks and the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers were at their lowest after that loss against the New York Giants and headed off to the Georgia Dome where they played very competitively. And then the Seahawks went after that Monday night win against the Green Bay Packers, and they got beat by the St. Louis Rams without allowing an offensive touchdown. My main concern right now for the Seahawks is their lack of a passing offense. I am not sold on Russell Wilson and him having a consistent game through the air. He hasn't thrown for more than 160 yards this season, and that was against the Rams last week where he threw 3 interceptions. And so while I think Russell's main asset right now is holding on to the football and not turning it over, this is a pretty bad secondary for the Carolina Panthers, and this is an opportunity for Russell to show that he can throw the ball and throw it effectively in the NFL. We haven't seen a whole lot from the passing game from Seattle. I mean, they have Golden Tate. We all know about him in this catch. We have Sidney Rice, and they have Zach Miller, and they have some decent receivers there, but we haven't heard a whole lot from their passing game. It's been a lot of the Marshawn Lynch running game, and I just don't think they can hang with the Panthers and their high-scoring offense this week. I mean, the Seahawks have a good defense, but so do the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons gave up quite a bit of points to that offense last week, and maybe with Carolina being at home this week, they can pull this one off, but I want to see if Russell Wilson can hang if this becomes a shootout and Cam Newton puts points on the scoreboard. I'm really interested in this game, though. I'm really looking forward to it, but I have the Carolina Panthers winning 26-17. Next up, Chicago at Jacksonville. I have Chicago winning 23-9. Jacksonville's offense hasn't looked good since week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings. Whereas the Bears played their best game of the season against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. Their defense can get after Blaine Gabbert, make him make mistakes, and I just don't see this Jacksonville offense putting up too many points, and certainly not more than the Chicago Bears, so I have to take the Bears in this one, like I said, 23-9. Next up, Denver and New England. Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, part 500. I don't know what it is, but I'm taking New England in this game at home, 30-24. I like New England's offense a lot more than the Broncos, even though they have no Aaron Hernandez this week. They have a pretty good running game now in Stephen Ridley, and Brandon Bolden also played well last week. But I am excited to see Peyton Manning against Tom Brady once again, and I'm hoping for a very good game. I'm predicting the New England Patriots to win, though, 30-24. Up next, Buffalo traveling across the country to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the Niners